One of the questions that I get asked all the time in our beading classes is, how do you design the beaded necklace? The simple answer is, design it however you want. But that doesn't really help you out too much. So I'm going to be giving you guys some tips to help you design your beaded necklaces. Let's get into it. Okay, so when I typically design a beaded necklace, I like to pick out 3 to 5 different strands of beads for those necklaces. And this does a few things for me. I think the more beads that you have in a necklace, it just creates more interest and variety than if you just use all the same bead or just 2 beads. It could be a little boring. If you want to go something simple, that's okay. And if you like that style, again, you design the necklaces the way that you want. This is just to help you if you want to get a little bit more creative. For the necklaces I'm about to show you, what I chose was, I chose a strand of preonite that is faceted. I chose some garnet. I chose some rondelle preonite that's faceted, and I chose some little faceted pyrites. So when you are choosing your beads, there's a few things to think about, right? There is the size of your beads, there is the color of your beads, there is the shape of your beads, and there was one other thing I wanted to tell you: size, color, shape, and the last one is finish. So it could be faceted, it could be round, it could be matte beads. I've seen a lot of those more recently. So those are kind of the 4 different criteria that you have for your beads. When I design, I don't want to have everything the same. Like that, again, that wouldn't be very interesting. So I try to choose maybe a variety of colors, right? Or I might choose a variety of sizes. I might choose a variety of finishes. So by varying these aspects, you're going to have a more interesting necklace. Also, by keeping a few things the same, it's going to create cohesion for your necklaces. So like this, again, I have 2 different strands of preonite. So these are both preonite. They're both faceted, so they have that in common, but they're 2 different sizes. This is like a 6mm round, and this is a little bit of a rondelle, which is maybe like a 4x6, so it's a little bit, squattier. And then so those have commonalities in that they're the same stone and they're both faceted, but they are different in the shape and size. And then this one is completely different. It's round, but it's a very dark garnet, and that dark garnet, because it's a different color than both my preonites, but yet it's the same shape as these rounds, but it's not faceted, it's smooth. And then my last strand that I picked out was another rondelle. So it's the same shape as these preonite rondelles, but it's a different stone, and it's faceted also like these preonite rondelles, but it's a different size. So by using some of the same aspects, but also then varying others, you're going to create a more interesting necklace. So as far as the patterning goes, let's jump in that, and I'll show you how to create some patterns within your beadwork. Okay, so I have 3 necklaces here. They all use the same 4 strands of beads. So these are what I used in the necklaces. So I had 4 strands of beads, and I was able to make 3 necklaces, 3 pairs of earrings, and only had about this much left of the little pyrite beads when I was finished. Usually when I make necklaces, I try to use up all the beads that I've pulled so I don't end up with boxes and boxes of little bits and pieces. So let me show you some very simple patterns that you could use when you make jewelry. So this one is a very simple pattern. Basically all I did was I took all 4 beads I was working with and I just repeated. So every other one. So I had this 4, 4, 4, it just repeats. This one has no focal center, so it just goes from the clasp all the way around. It doesn't mirror image itself on each side. The second pattern I have is one of my favorite patterns to do, and this is a 3-3 pattern. Basically, you do 3 beads of each of the beads that you've pulled to use in your necklace. You can see there's the round preonite, the round garnets, and the rondelle preonites. I decided to go back in and break these up. I thought the pyrites were too small to have their own group of 3, but I did want to incorporate them in this necklace as well. So I broke up my grouping of 3 with a little pyrite in between. And then I felt like if I only did these 3 beads, that it would have to repeat with the preonite next to the other preonite. So I wanted to break it up a little bit. And so I added in like 1 little garnet here to help tie in the garnet that I have here into the rest of the necklace. And you can see how my pattern is repeating. It's 3 of each style, but then every now and again it has the one to break it up and the little pyrites to separate each group of 3. And then this one I did a mirror image pattern, meaning that here in the middle is a focal of 5 beads, and then I mirror image my pattern on each side, as opposed to the other one that just continued all the way around without a center or swapping the direction the beads were going. All right, and our last necklace, I wanted to use up all the beads that I had, like I said. So this pattern came out of necessity of trying to use up what I had and not open additional strands of beads. Again, this one has a focal in the center. This time I did a bigger focal. I did 7 beads, and it is a mirror image pattern on this one as well because it does have that center focal point. But what I did with this is I had very few garnets and the larger faceted preonites left. So I laid it out to see how many groupings of those garnet and preonites that I had to mix into my necklace. And then all I had to do was fill in the space in between those with another pattern. And I had a lot of little pyrites left, so I knew that I was going to need quite a few of those to get the length that I wanted for my necklace, because I was a little bit shorter on the rondelles and I really didn't want to open another strand. So I just did an every other one pattern in between the stations here, and that worked out perfect. I had enough beads to go all the way to the end. So there is that pattern right there, and I used, like I said, I used up all of my beads, and I really only had a very small amount of beads. Let me grab that real quick. This is all the beads that I had left. And these little pyrites are very easy to mix in with other things. And I did make 3 pairs of earrings as well, so that each one of these necklaces can have a pair of matching earrings if somebody wanted to buy matching earrings to go with it. That's how I design my patterns. I hope you found that helpful. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.